Hi, good morning. Wills on Wednesday. We are talking limited powers of attorney for college age kids. And so that's what we're talking about today on Wills on Wednesday. Thank you for joining me. I'm attorney Amy Rafeka, and I am the owner and founder of Atlanta Wills and Trust Law Group here in Alpharetta, Georgia. And it is graduation season in and around us almost every single weekend from here and probably until mid-June. There will be graduation parties to attend and celebrations and achievements to recognize by these young men and women who are really kind of changing chapters in their life or even switching books, using that metaphor. One of the things that I want to point out to moms and dads is that your young son or daughter very well either may already be over the age of 18 or will be turning 18 very soon. And when you ship them off to college, when you pack them all up here in a few months and you head them off to college, to start this new chapter in their life, or just to go back to the chapter that they had already started maybe in a year or so before, then one of the things moms and dads don't always realize is that they don't have the same access to financial information, but more importantly to health information for their young adult child. And there are some personal experiences in my family where my sister discovered this after my niece had gone away and couldn't help my niece immediately. There had to be a whole bunch of phone calls and steps to take in order for my sister to get access to my niece's healthcare information so she could help my niece who was away. And I could share other stories as well of, some stories even more concerning, where someone's young son was injured and in the emergency room and could not communicate with his parents. And none of the health professionals in the hospital would really communicate much with mom and dad because their son was over the age of 18 and there was no limited power of attorney for healthcare in place, letting mom and dad know about what was going on from a health perspective, let alone actually helping their son make decisions in that space. Hi, Brandy. Thank you for joining. So that's what I just wanted to jump on this morning and talk to you about, which is limited healthcare powers of attorneys for young adults and limited financial power of attorneys for young adults who are heading off to college. And this might seem incredibly counterintuitive for a parent who has basically had almost unlimited access to health information about their child. They pay the bills for the child, they provide the health insurance for the child. Why wouldn't they be allowed to access this information? And frankly, privacy laws is the answer. Privacy laws, once you're of a certain age, no matter who's footing the bill, pretty much protects your young adult's healthcare information from anyone, even you, mom and dad. And so how I've seen this unfortunately play out is then mom and dad, again, can't speak with medical professionals when there is something going on with their young son or daughter and cannot advocate for them, especially if their son or daughter cannot advocate for themselves. And they're away at school, maybe several hours, maybe even further away at school. And it's a very unfortunate and probably anxiety-ridden and stressful situation for mom and dad and their son or daughter. So we just wanted to talk about that. You can get a limited healthcare power of attorney. You can get a limited financial power of attorney for your son or daughter before they head off. It's a really quick appointment, just to let you know. It's, your son or daughter would need to be there present, and they would actually be the client in that situation and signing those documents, letting mom or dad or both, again, be their limited power of attorney for health and finance. Most persons don't think of estate planning for young college adults, but this is a really critical piece that I've seen really help families, and unfortunately, when they're not in place, really cause a lot of stress and anxiety for families as well when they can't help their son or daughter. So that's what we're talking about, graduation season here in May. limited power of attorneys for your young college age students heading off to college this fall or heading back to college this fall. You can get them in place really quickly. It just takes a quick appointment. You don't even actually have to be there. You could send your son or daughter into the office and we would sit down and explain to them everything that's going on and what these documents are, and that's what we would do anyway. Okay, what is the difference between a limited POA for healthcare and Georgia Healthcare Advanced Directive? Well, so there's different words, and that's a great question. There's different words I think that people use in the space of healthcare power of attorney, advanced directive, living will. So there is no requirement necessarily for what this document should be called. And if your son or daughter especially is heading off to somewhere other than Georgia, the most common parlance perhaps, or the common name for this document is, a healthcare power of attorney. And so in the document itself for a limited healthcare power of attorney, we just also include language that would say it could also be known as this and it could also be known as that. And so in essence, it might have different names, but really it's the same document internally and what it does. And what it does is it allows another person to either access healthcare information for you or access healthcare information for you and make decisions for you if you cannot. And so when I refer to it as a limited healthcare power of attorney, a lot of young adults don't really want mom and dad to potentially access everything or to have very unlimited rights because they're young adults and they are now heading off into this different chapter in their life and are asserting their independence. And so, it might be limited in how long they want it to be in place. It could be limited in that mom and dad does not have access to mental health information. It could be limited in other ways, and we just walk through that with our young adult clients. Perhaps they want mom and dad to have healthcare information in particular settings, like maybe not at the school clinic or things like that. So, and there are risks when you limit anything that mom or dad won't be able to help in a situation. But the real difference between a limited healthcare power of attorney and the Georgia Advanced Directive is, one, honestly, the name that people use, and two, how limited it is or isn't, what it's going to give mom and dad the ability to do or to know. So those are the two features that sort of can differ between the two. Also, the limited power of attorney is probably not going to speak heavily on end-of-life decisions. These are, young men and women, and for many reasons, that is not as appropriate, and it's a lot less likely that they can sort of, consume that kind of idea of their mortality, and same with mom and dad thinking about that. So there is a small reference to it in a limited power of attorney for healthcare, but there is not a heavy emphasis on end-of-life decisions. So that's really kind of the difference. And I hope that answers your question. It was a really great question, Brandy. And so if you have questions like Brandy's about really what a limited healthcare power of attorney is for a young adult heading off to college, whether it's the healthcare or the financial, go ahead and give us a call and we can schedule a quick 15-minute phone call with you, mom and dad, and we could also schedule a 15-minute phone call with your young adult child who is wondering why mom and dad is suddenly asking them to sign this legal document. So, which I've gone through that discussion many times with my young adult clients who come in and sign these, and they just kind of want to know why, what really are their rights, and that's really important information. And this is the beginning sort of a new chapter for them in understanding how, things are different now. So give us a call at 770-508-6525, and we can walk you through our the Places You'll Go plan is what we're calling it this year, and that is the places your kids are going to go in life. So you just need to be there to support them. and a limited power of attorney can help. So 770-508-6525. Thanks for joining me this morning. I hope this was helpful.